Hey fellow writers, it's Jessica Froberg. Excuse my voice. I've been so sick the last week. But I wanted to jump on here and share with you what my process is for editing after I finish a first draft. I use the spreadsheets in Google Drive, and I'm gonna hop on my computer in just a minute and show you the 3 different steps that I take when I'm editing my book. So let's get started. Let's go into my computer.
Okay, this is the first step that I take. I make a to-do list spreadsheet, and as I draft, there's always going to be things that you find that you like, I need to do this, I need to add this, I need to change this, and that is what I do with the to-do list. I come in here while I draft, and I write down, let's say, add in world building about blank in chapter 2. So I automatically have all these to-do lists, and I just type it all down here. It's where I can keep all my notes. It's so I can fast draft, not look back, not edit, just plow through. And when I'm done, then I can come back and look at this list. The next step I usually do is my read through. This is where I have all of my main things that I'm looking for, like if I have a magic system, any plot twists, and the lead ups to that, and the foreshadowing of it, any pacing issues I find, I have a random category. Basically, when you read through your first draft, as I say right here, this is where you find out what the story you wrote is about, and then you decide what the story you actually want to be. And on this side, I usually include the page number and chapter of things that I want to change. If it's an overall thing, then you can just type it in here. But yeah, this is where I put on my first read through any issues that I find. Now, after I have done all of the edits from my to-do list and my read through, then I do my last big scene level edit. So I start off with chapter 1, and I say the word count. So let's say this chapter is 2,000 words. And then I give a 3 to 4 sentence description of what the setting is about. And then I say the purpose. And why this is so important is during the scene level edits, you'll find so many scenes that you just put in there that are just kind of fun and don't have a huge purpose for your plot or your subplot. And this will help you catch it. Another one is the character goal. So in here, exactly what the character goal is during that scene. What do they want? And then do they have something working against them? And that's usually the conflict. What is keeping them from their goal or making that goal harder for them to achieve? And any stakes that are involved in the chapter. I usually like to find that my stakes increase throughout the entire book until at the very end it's like the highest stakes that they're going towards. It just helps me show that there's a progression in where my character is going. On the side, I like to put the main plot. I do Save the Cat. It has 15 beats to it. And in here, I just put where we're at with those beats. And so I can see if it takes me forever to get from one beat to the next, then I might need to revise some things. It depends on the beat, and you'll learn about those if you read the books. But if it takes me way too long to get to the inciting incident, then I know I might need to cut a few scenes before I get there. Subplots, I like to add in what is introduced here for a subplot or a main conflict that's revolved around the subplots, like the love interest. When is the love interest introduced? When do they first kiss? This also helps you kind of see the progression, and if it's an instant love, if you're going for that, fine. If not, this helps you pace it out. I also like to add any breadcrumbs or hints for things. I like a lot of reveals in my books, and so I like to keep track of when I add in hints for that and how many hints I add. And if I find that my beta readers are finding out my plot twists way too fast, then I can look through here and see what breadcrumbs I can take out, and it'll still be good. Characters, if I introduce a character, I add it in this section. And if their character arc is building in some way or they die, this just lets me know what chapter, what scene, that all happens. World building. Basically add in any new huge world building, especially for the plot that I put in here. It helps me know what scenes might be heavy in world building and which ones aren't. And then I like to add in if it's a reactive or an active scene. So if your character is actively going up against something and trying to achieve something, or if it's more of a reactive to an issue that's hit them. I find if I have too many reactive scenes in a row that my character just feels like they're not being active. So I like to have a good mix of these. And then my last one is just any extras to fix. So one thing is there's not just going to be one scene per chapter. So if you have multiple scenes, then I just highlight, let's say there's 3 scenes in chapter 1. Then I'll come up here and merge the cells, and then I'll have each scene here. So the first scene is blah, blah, blah. Next scene is this, and then this. And I'll just do the word count. So let's see, this is a really short scene here, and this is more of a longer one here. And so in chapter 1, I have 3 scenes. I do the descriptions for each and everything that goes into here. This really helps me keep track of what happens in what chapters, what my progression is like. Do I have goals for my character? This is so important. They need to have goals of some sort, large or small, but they need to be going towards something, wanting something each scene, or it might be stagnant. And yeah, this is my big thing. So I fill this out for my entire book and look it over and see where I might have issues. This really helps me with pacing and world building and all of my plot points. So hopefully this helps you, and I will link below a few resources on editing, but this is how I organize in Spreadsheets for my edits.